Girl was at the bench near where I had set up my camera. She came over and asked very gently whether she needed to move further away to give me some more space. She was asking if she needed to move to make room for my tripod, and that was the moment I realized that I was the problem. When I first started filming for my training, I dragged the tripod with me around the gym. I thought it was fine, but in fact it was creating a big problem for me and others. Once I started paying attention, I realized that the tripod was bothering people in 3 different ways. First, it was physical. It took up space that wasn't mine. A gym in Thailand isn't a massive production studio, space is shared, and I was squeezing myself in, basically stealing space from everyone else. Second, it was social. I noticed people changing their path just to avoid walking into my frame. In Thailand, where not causing inconvenience to others is actually a massive cultural reflex, watching people detour around my camera was uncomfortable for me. I was making the environment worse. And third, it bothered me personally. The second I hit record on a tripod, my focus split. Half my brain was on the training and the other was actually on the camera. Is the angle right? Did someone walk in front of it? Do I bother someone? My training was suffering. So I threw the tripod in the trash and looked for a better way. I switched to a magnet mount that works with my camera, the DJI Action 5 Pro, and no, I am not selling anything, neither I'm promoting any product. So that thing fits in my hand. I can snap it on any metal surface, any machine, or even on a weight rack, and I just train. No setup, nothing on the floor, and nobody has to walk around it. But it wasn't the perfect fix. For example, I tested it on overhead tricep extensions. First shot, eye level height, I got a great view of mostly my back and not my arms. I moved it to the very top of the machine. Better, but still not what I was looking for. Both shots failed, and I need to experiment more with placement and angles. Also, look at this overhead setup. I snapped the magnet right above my head. The footprint is perfect, but because the lens is less than a meter away, the wide angle glass completely flattens my arms and shoulders. I look like I don't even train, but to keep the session moving and the floor clear, that's the compromise. I should explain also why I even bother filming my workouts. This channel covers a lot: Linux, infrastructure, trading, expat life in Thailand, and rebuilding and moving towards a more sovereign living. But my physical training is the core system. If my body goes offline, every project I build on top of it goes down too. I track it for form, continuity, progress, and also because I want to start sharing my experiences with you. In fact, a while back my doctor gave me a wake-up call and told me that packing on muscle was no longer optional for me, it was a strict health necessity. I documented that entire story in an early video, which I will link up here. Now, after 2 training sessions, I also thought the tiny mount with the camera solved the problem, but I was again wrong. Day 3 with a magnet mount. Next day, I finished the set, moved to the next machine, and forgot the camera was still attached. Some guys came over to use the equipment. One of them looked at the tiny camera on the rack, and I could tell immediately he was annoyed. Eventually, he said to me, "Your camera," with that specific look and tone that tells you everything. And I stood there thinking. I threw away the tripod. I switched the mount to the size of my palm, and someone is still bothered. Standing there, it hit me. I would have left my towel on that machine, and I'm pretty sure I would have gotten the exact same reaction. Some people aren't reacting to the camera, they are just reacting to you being in their space. Maybe they do not like my face, maybe they had a bad day. At the end, of course, who cares? The clue is that there is no piece of gear small enough to fix that. I do what I can to be reasonable and respectful of the shared space, and after that, I just keep training. Trying to please people who have already decided to be annoyed is a waste of my energy. I took the camera down and got back to my workout. At the end, the training is what matters. The camera is secondary. The magnet mount, failed angles and all keeps my head in the workout instead of managing a production. Nobody has to move for me. I will keep working on the angles, but the direction is right. I found the best way, I believe, to balance making some videos without bothering others or compromising my intense workouts. My rule is simple. I show up, I respect the environment, and I get the work done. The rest of it is just logistical noise. The footprint now is clean, and the focus is exactly where it belongs. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.